Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Monday, August 14th of 2023. Trust that you guys had a wonderful weekend. My weekend was eventful. My weekend was eventful, revelatory, purifying, not necessarily the most comfortable, but a blessing nonetheless. Perhaps it was the same for you guys. But, anyways, this is going to be, like I said, your astrology forecast for Monday, August 14th, 2023. So, what do we got going on? Well, we do, of course, have this moon, which has freshly ingressed into the sign of Leo. Leo moons is kind of an interesting energy. It's like the supporting side character. It's like the supporting actor or actress that can sometimes steal the show, and they kind of almost want to be the main actor, but they definitely still have a very important role here. Of course, it's in its balsamic phase, with it being within 21 degrees of this sun in Leo. They will conjunct actually at 23 degrees of Leo. So we still got a little bit. I want to say it'll be probably later on in the evening tomorrow. Now, of course, Sun in Leo, Moon in Leo, and also Venus here, Black Moon Lilith. There's a lot of fiery energy right now, right? A lot of this Leo energy that we're going through. And we just, of course, got done with the major aspect, the Sun conjunct Venus Cazimi that happened in Leo at 20 degrees, which is a definite purification moment and something that no one alive had ever experienced before, because the last time that this could have happened, or at the very least with Venus only retrograding in the sign of Leo and not going into Virgo and coming back into Leo, the last time this could have happened was over 200 years ago. And I know I keep reiterating that, but I had to keep reiterating it because it's actually a major fucking deal. That's why I keep saying it over and over and over again, because this was a Kazemi that sought to really get you into your heart space and to really climb past, swim past, really just get through the core, to get to the core of your heart, to get to the core of your creativity and passion and what it is that you want to bring out and shine in this world. That's what this sought to do. To get past all of the impurities, to blast past all of the uh, all of the stressors, the anxieties, the depressions, to get past all of that, to get to the core, to get to the root, to get to the inner child that hadn't gone through all of the trauma that life can bring, be it major trauma or minor traumas, to get to the core of that and to remember why we came here in the first place, right? So, with that moon coming into Leo, it's going to be here, of course, at 0 degrees, starting off the day. And, as the day, of course, continues, the moon is not really going to make a whole lot of aspects, you know what I mean? So, it's going to, yes, Leo, what's wrong, buddy? Oh, I know. I know. The moon is going to quincunx over to Saturn, you know, later on in the day, being that's going to be at 4 degrees and 4 degrees. So it will quincunx Saturn, which will give a bit of an awkward kind of energy. And I think really what this comes down to is, we've been getting a lot of awkward energies. We've been getting a lot of like major quincunxing energy, which is a 150-degree angle, right? Now, being that this is at 4 degrees, this is going to be all about belonging and whether our vibe attracts our tribe. And of course, with Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces, it could take on a bit of a spiritual nature. You know what I mean? So you may find yourself, especially now that the moon has moved into this energy, got the sun here still, Venus here. We are definitely asking ourselves, when we had this blasting purification of the sun and Venus, and we got to the purity and got to the true essence of really who we are in many ways, and then we started to express this. Is it going to be something that people embrace and accept? You know what I mean? being that it's at 4 degrees? Are we going to look around at the tribe that we have attracted into our life, the people that are in our life, our situations, our surroundings? We're going to be asking ourselves, oh, wait, does this actually fit? Does this make sense now for where I'm trying to go? We have to ask ourselves these questions. You know, we have a 4 here, we have a 4 here, and of course, we do have a 4 here with 2 plus 2 with the Uranian energy, and it's at the edge of it too. So what that tells me is that when it comes to this whole your vibe attracts your tribe, asking yourself, based off of where you are in your spiritual journey, do these people really align with you? Is it awkward? Is there something kind of amiss right here, right? Saturn is retrograde too, so there's definitely, the sense of timing can be weird. There is no sense of timing right now with the planet of time here, and then of course we have Neptune right here, and then you have Uranus as well, which is another kind of time energy, but it's random and it's radical and it's about to move to 23 degrees of Taurus. So we got some edgy energy where Uranus has been at 22 degrees for a while now. How many days has it been here for? I mean, you can clearly see just going back. You see just how long that Uranus has been at 22 degrees since July 8th. It is August 14th, so it's been over a month that Uranus has been at this freaking degree of 22 degrees, right? So there's another shifting energy. And being that it is Uranus and being that it's in the sign of Taurus as well, you're going to feel this energy, especially with it moving to 23 degrees. And 2 plus 3 is 5 in numerology, which comes down to the Gemini mercurial energy. This is something that we're going to feel. It's something we're going to feel, but it's something that's going to come out of nowhere. I'm telling you guys. It's going to be something that comes out of nowhere once this happens, 4 degrees. It'll come off of it. It should come off of this degree today. It should come off of it today. So, and it's in the deck and it's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is here retrograde in Pisces at 4 degrees. These can definitely be things that kind of come out of nowhere. And the timing of it is just going to seem weird, but the timing of everything is kind of perfect right now. Now, the other thing that we, of course, have today is that we do have Venus here at 19 degrees, making the trine over to Chiron at 19 degrees. This is a bit difficult, too, because now we get like our first major test after the Cazimi, even though it is a trine where we are being pretty much awakened to our gifts, our superpowers, our quirks, the unique things that make us who we are. Remember how I say that oftentimes with these superhero origin stories, it usually comes in the form of some sort of trauma that they get their superpower. This is going to be the moment where we kind of look at that energy and we actually can finally accept and embrace those things and realize that that's what's brought us to the next level. That's what's given us our power, this training energy. It's going to give us a great opportunity to not look at these traumas, if you will, or these wounds or these scars, and not look at them in disgust and be like, it's causing a blemish or it's causing me to look, bad or ugly, or it's causing me to look a certain way. This will give us an opportunity to look at them from a more pure and loving way, if you will, which is it's a beautiful thing, you know what I mean? So it should give us that opportunity anyways. Now, as you continue to, of course, as the day continues, I wonder if Uranus is actually going to come to that 23-degree mark. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to be more of a tomorrow aspect because Uranus is moving slow too. So that's the other thing we could think about it. Uranus will be coming retrograde in the next couple of weeks. By the end of the day, of course, you're going to have the moon around 7 to 8 degrees of Leo, right? So that sun's going to be at 22 degrees, and we're getting ready, of course, for that new moon energy, right? And it's interesting how the sun and Mars are kind of moving and at a similar pace. They'll also will join up with the 22 degrees by the end of the day. So we got 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4. There's a lot of energy right now when it comes to belonging, where we are vibing right now, when it comes, especially when it comes to our values. The sun is getting ready to, of course, square Uranus. After Venus squared Uranus, that's going to be the interesting thing. When Venus squared Uranus, especially the fact that she was retrograde, this is like asking us, like, when we actually do express our stuff and we really get to the brass tacks of what we really want and how we really want to express ourselves and be creative and show our passion, whether or not the people that we attract into our lives can actually accept and embrace our uniqueness, and whether or not their values align with ours. And it's the squaring energy. So it's not going to necessarily be easy. It could be uncomfortable. People may not see eye to eye. They may not necessarily see your vision, if you will. But no one can see your vision but you. Then we'll have the sun get to that spot. So it's like Venus got to it, and then the sun got to it. And of course, being that the sun is at home, sun's going to win this. Is going to win this one all day. Even though this is a degree, 2 + 2 is 4. Even though this is like the degree of Uranus, the sun's at home, so the sun's going to win this one. Now I'll say this one: Venus did it. If Venus was probably like, taken aback when Venus squared Uranus, right? It could come out of nowhere when you realize that people's values aren't exactly what you thought they were. And maybe, they kind of surprised you as well. And we got the sun going to the spot. Sun square Uranus, right? Sun square Uranus is always a firework display, if you will, especially with it being here. And it's in the decan ruled by Mars. Definitely can be this actually might be one of the major moments that you want to see, like in the news, with it being in a decan ruled by Mars. And Mars is definitely more, it's the god of war, right? There is the god of war. This is definitely going to come down to where it's like you can see the realignment really starting to happen. If anything, this is going to give light to the realignment. You will realize today is like, oh wow, shoot, the tribes are kind of splitting and remorphing and reshaping and taking different form. People are hopping ship. People are coming on the ship. Things are kind of splitting up. Things are shifting. Things are happening. Teams are being realigned right now. Some people may have regretted leaving certain teams. Maybe people are realizing that they should have left certain teams earlier. That's me. With an aspect of my life, And of course, like I said, Mars here at 22 degrees does kind of give a little bit more energy to this. It's a semi-sextile, mind you. And of course, as this square is happening, Mars is trining the energy. But here's the thing, too. With Mars trining the Uranian energy, and it being in this decan ruled by Venus, of course, is here in Leo. It's come off this and it's trining Chiron. This can definitely be a moment where if you overly identify with your wounding, and instead of taking that wounding per se of the Chiron, instead of taking the key and actually opening the door, but instead you just hold the key in your hand and you don't do anything with it, that can definitely lead you to causing some sort of weird ass drama. And it's going to be weird. It's going to be even a little bit alien. You know what I mean? It's going to be out there. I already know how I'm kind of playing into this energy. And I'm kind of willingly going into it. But I'm not even going to lie. I'm kind of doing like a little scorpionic thing with it today. The way that I'm doing it. And the reason why I'm kind of doing it this way, I'm not really specifying, is because I do feel like I got ostracized. I felt like I got ostracized. I'm still going to do my job, do my work, but at the same time, I'm going to kind of make a point. So there's definitely going to be a moment where people may try to even just make a point today. Maybe it's not necessarily the tipping point into certain things, into some type of, catalyst to I'm thinking more war like stuff, all the stuff that's going on in Europe and Ukraine and Russia, whatever like that. Different grain deals that are no longer in effect, just going to affect the entire fucking world. You know what I mean? But yeah, today is definitely going to be a day where it's like people are really questioning their alignments, questioning their teams, questioning, you know, maybe even having to realize that, if your vibe attracts your tribe and you don't necessarily like the tribe that you're in, instead of per se attacking those people and going at it that way, simply changing your vibe is how you're going to move yourself out of that situation. I'm kind of already experiencing this where my vibe was already shifting and I no longer really vibe with where I'm at. So I'm vibrating out of this place. I'm on a different frequency, right? You may feel this too in your life where your vibe has already been changing and you're realizing that you are vibrating out of a certain situation and it's going to feel uncomfortable. There's going to be moments of clarity in this, and moments of realizing, especially like I said, with the trine with Venus and Chiron, which are both in retrograde. So it's going to be very introspective in a fire-like way with Leo fixed fire and then cardinal fire with Aries. There's no Sag energy. So it's going to be sort of like, it's definitely going to feel a little bit dire. It's definitely going to feel a little bit intense. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely going to feel more like fireworks instead of having just like, because you're, the thing is here is that if you're wanting to make some sort of decision through all this, just be careful that you don't necessarily make any rash decisions right now. And also, you want to be careful about who you talk to and who you reveal too much information to. That's the thing about it. Because you may have conversations that you think are, you may have a conversation where it's, you feel like you need to have it, right? And you may even feel good about the conversation afterwards, but then the way that the other person may respond may not exactly be the way that you thought they were going to take it. You know what I mean? I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance if I'm projecting too much of my personal experience onto this, but the astrology is still ripe for it. So I don't think that what I'm saying is inaccurate because I think we are all going through major heart issues where we are trying to look deep within ourselves to figure out what it is that we really want, how we really want to express ourselves in this life, and really how we want to create in this life. There's definitely this element here with the Aries energy where it's like we, when it comes to our personality, when it comes to our character, there could be some character assassination kind of energy with this. And also, whether or not we are going to embrace our unique quirks and stuff. And the North Node is here in Aries. So there's definitely this push to really be ourselves and our authentic self, but how far is too far? South Node is in Libra. This is not really a time to be overly politically correct. It's not a time to be like overly diplomatic right now or trying to just keep the peace right now. You know what I mean? This is a peace disrupting kind of energy. So what happens when peace gets disrupted? How do you respond to that kind of energy? I would say the best way to respond is always to go back to the sun. Where's the sun? It's in Leo. It's at home. So be like the sun. Radiate that love, shine brightly, and affect the world in that way. Instead of trying to push back on other people, radiate instead. Because when you try and physically push back on people, they're naturally going to push back on you because no one likes to just be pushed like that. But when you radiate, you attract to you the people and the situations that match your vibration. Let's get into the cards. It's taken me 31 years. Well, I'm not even say 31 years because I think as kids we kind of do this naturally. But it's taken me the better part of I guess I learned about the law of attraction when I was in middle school or something like that. So that's like 2005. Yeah. So, I mean, a good while. Let's just say that. right? The better part of like 20 years, I would say, it's taken me to really start to actually understand what the law of attraction actually is. And really, honestly, it's the law of vibration, and then the law of attraction kicks in. See you, Burbies. I love you. You're going to do fantastic. Hold on, y'all. A second. I think I told you guys about my wife, how she was in massage school and stuff like that. Well, of course, she graduated. She got her license and everything. And she's going to do her first 3 massages today. So I'm super, super freaking proud of her. I love you too, Barbies. Drive safe. I will. Let's get into the card, shall we? We have the World card in reverse. This can definitely feel like your world is turning upside down, but you have to ask yourself, who was the one that turned it upside down? It was probably you. And here's the thing about it is that, like, you asked for this, and maybe it didn't turn in the way that you thought it was going to turn, but it still turned. And the outcome is still the outcome that you wanted. It just didn't happen the way that you wanted, right? We do have the 3 of Wands. This is definitely a period where it's sort of like, okay, now that my world is turned upside down, where do I go next? This is definitely going to be a moment too where it's like the fact that it's this card and it's not like something like the 8 of Wands or something like that, or even like the 5 of Wands or something like that, or like a sword card, you know what I mean? Like a 5 of Swords. This is not a time necessary to go to battle with anyone. This is a time to understand and realize that our world has flipped upside down. And this is going to be a time where it's like, we want to kind of think this through a little bit, even though we don't really have a whole lot of air energy, but we do at least have Mercury at home in Virgo, even though it's about to retrograde. But it's definitely a time where it's like, yeah, we want to go into a bit of a contemplation kind of mode, but we also don't want to just necessarily get stuck in that contemplation and just kind of realize, like, okay, this is going to be a time to kind of take in all the information that's going on right now, that your world is flipped upside down. Things are changing. Teams are shifting. The guilds are shifting. People are hopping to different teams, and then the playing field will be set. Now, when I had to look a little bit more into the astrology to see when the playing field's going to be set, but things are shifting right now. This is a time where it's like you don't want to get too caught up and this is not this is not a 5 of Cups. So there's no need to really be super sad about this. This is like a no hard feeling kind of thing. It's sort of like okay, this happened. All right, what's my next step? What's my goal? What do I really want to create? How am I going to embark on this journey, right? We have the Sun card here. Now, it is reversed, though. I have the Sun card in reverse. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, but you really just don't want to get too caught up on just overthinking things and just over contemplating this. This is sort of like okay, my world's flipped upside down. All right, what do I do next? All right, let me go to the sun. Let me go to the inner sun. Being that it's reversed, some of you guys may feel like your shine is being dimmed, if you will. But don't let people dim your shine. Only you can dim your own shine. Only you can dim your own shine based off what other people are saying. But if other people are trying to dim your own shine and not have you radiate that love, you don't have to succumb to their thoughts and their perception of you. This comes down to all about what you want to do in your life and stuff. And if you express some things with certain people and they do something to show that they are casting you aside or they don't necessarily agree with it, then the fuck well. No hard feelings, you move forward. That's what it really comes down to. I'm sorry, Leo, for tripping over you, but you shouldn't have gotten in my way. Should not have gotten in my way. See what the Oracle card is. We have the card of empowerment. This is definitely a moment where you want to feel more empowered than anything else. The frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we are all connected to the same source, even though there is a realignment happening. And even though it can feel kind of sad that you may have to leave certain people and situations behind, you moving to a place that is more in tune with your vibration and your frequency, especially if you're on a spiritual journey and you're looking to ascend, you moving out of that situation and moving away from those people is actually going to benefit them in the long run. Because when you step into your empowerment, when you step into your heart, when you step into your authenticity and your spiritual integrity, that is how we make a real difference in the world. And that is how we bring up the entire vibration of the planet. That is the best gift that you can give to anyone, is by remaining in your truth and remaining in your spiritual integrity and your true authenticity, and by shining your light no matter how it looks and how it may appear to other people. You simply being you is the best way to help those individuals. So I get the feeling too is that, like, teamwork does make the dream work. Sometimes though, it feels like we have to play on different teams to help each other. But ultimately, we're all in this together. That is going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you'd like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care, stay blessed, and I will see you all on the next video. Peace.